We're live. We're live.
Yay! Good evening, everybody.
We gotta wait for somebody to come in. Come on in, people. Come on in. Probably takes them a
Mhm.
minute, a couple seconds. We'll give it a minute.
All right.
So we should have had. I guess they could have should have had some music while we were waiting. I should have let you
For
play
people
some
to join.
music while we were waiting.
Let's
We
see. You
do.
want me to find something?
Yeah, well, we have some. We have folks. We have someone coming on in. We got people coming on in. So come on in. Come on in. Join us. Join us. Join us. This is going to be a great Monday evening.
Yay!
Think outside the red box. Y'all,
This is going to be good. Um, I hope you are excited about it as I was when God gave us this epiphany. Think outside the red box. That, hold on. So, we're going to go ahead and get started. This is called Think Outside the Red Box. And every Monday, we're coming to you live at 7:30 every Monday to bring you all some perspectives, some inspiration, some motivation, some things to get you outside of the box. Because we're stuck. We're stuck in what society tells us we have to do. We're stuck in what the church tells us what we should do, what our parents tell us to do, what the educational system tells us what to do, and we don't sometimes know when to think for ourselves. We kind of think within that box they put us in, and we want to get people to thinking outside the box. So I'm gonna let Dion, I'm gonna let you tell them the concept of the name of how we came with the name Think Outside the Box. And let us know you're here. Wade, put your name in the chat. Join us in the conversation. If you got some comments, you got some questions, we don't want this to be just me and Dion talking. We want this to be interactive. We want to be able to start having these conversations every Monday. So come, join us on Monday. Join the conversations. Bring your thoughts. Read your feedback because it's not just about what me and Dion got to say. So I'm gonna let Dion speak. Let her tell you about what this whole other thing that Becoming a Being is doing on Mondays about Think Outside the Red Box.
So good evening, everybody. We were sitting down talking about becoming a being and understanding who we are and why we do things the way we do sometimes and why we think the way that we think. So we were listening to one of the pastors speaking about um, just being. You hear it a lot in the marketplace. Everywhere you go, you hear about being and you hear about thinking outside of the box and choosing you. So we were sitting down as we were talking and sharing, and we thought, wow, what about thinking outside the red box? He gave this evaluation. He explained to us about Blockbuster, how Blockbuster was big at one time and how they were big in VHS and then they moved to DVDs. But once Netflix came aboard, they went out of business because they weren't ready to make that switch. They weren't ready to go to internet or go live. So they were just stuck in a box. They were stuck with VHSs or DVDs. So we thought, oh my goodness, what about the red boxes? That's all around CVS and Walmart and Kroger's. And we thought, okay, so what happens if the movie that you want is not in that red box? And you're driving all over the place looking for that movie And there you are, stuck at a red box, still after going to the third red box with no movie. So we thought, wow, we should learn how to think outside the red box. It's bigger and broader than just that red box. So um, we took to the internet, and little did we know, Redbox is on internet now. You can buy movies on the internet. So we got a little plug for the Redbox. But we wanted to broaden our way of thinking and exercise that muscle a little bit, that we're bigger than just a red box. God is wanting to do more with us than just inside of that box. So that's kind of how it evolved. And we decided, well, it's time to take being to another level. So we're
Right.
here today.
To take it to a whole nother level. So in our being, we're going to start thinking outside the box. We're going to again have conversation, motivation. Let's get some different perspectives. Let's be able to talk and look at some things differently. That's going to help propel us to that next level of being, of where God wants us to go, where God is trying to take us. And so tonight we want to talk about that concept of being stuck in our victories, right? So that the preacher talked about how sometimes we can get stuck in our victories. I used to be this, or I used to do this, and we are so good at talking about what we have done or what we used to do, right? And the conversation never goes to, well, what are you doing now? What are you doing now? Where are you going? Where are you focused on? Right. So that's what we kind of want to talk about tonight is trying to get past where we are so that we can see where we're going. Because the whole thing with Blockbuster is they were stuck where they are. They thought I did this. I done grew and we made a great transitions to DVDs, but they did not think further down they were stuck in their present and they couldn't see ahead, they couldn't see down the road, they couldn't see another solution, or they couldn't see how to change it and make things even better. They weren't revolutionary in their thinking. And sometimes we're not revolutionary in our thinking as our being. We're stuck where we are, and we think that where we are is all there is. And it's not all that it is. So we got to think outside that box about who we are and where we can go. And so we have to start growing.
And sometimes we have to reintroduce ourselves to ourselves. There's more to us than just um, God or just understanding who He is. Well, sometimes we can't find God or can't find the solutions because we don't know who we are. So sometimes we have to reintroduce ourselves to ourselves, and that means that we have to deal with some emotional woes that might not be ready to face, but we certainly have to be intentional about making that happen and making sure that we reintroduce ourselves to ourselves so that we can be the better us, so that we can understand what God is telling us and where He's trying to take us. And then we also can focus on the things that we're trying to do for Him, because we always say we want to do great things for God and we sit on it and we never do it because we allow ourselves to be stuck in that red box.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So how do we begin to vision our lives further down the road? How do we begin to look at where we can go and not just be stuck on where we are and think that that's all there is? We have to start thinking differently, right? We have to start changing our mind about how we see some things. Um, and so you do have to look back, right? You do need to look back on your life, take an evaluation of where you are, and take and so that you can know where you're going. You can't go somewhere if you don't know where you are, right? So that's like if you're going to take a road trip,
you have to know, well, before you can go into Google and get
Mm,
directions, they want to know, well, where's your
wait,
starting point, so I can tell you which way that you need to go.
mm,
Okay, so here you are. You need to take evaluation of your life. You need to take evaluation of your past and your present, right? And look back on those things to determine where you are. But when you look back, the thing is, people look back and they get stuck.
stuck.
How do we
Wow.
look back and not get stuck?
That's the big question that you ask yourself. How do you not get stuck? You have to choose you. You have to decide that we are who we teach who we are. So that's my favorite saying. We teach who we are. So we have to choose. You have to choose you so that you can teach something different. Now it might mean that you got to be broken, and it's okay if you have to be broken. Allow yourself to be broken so that God can build you back up again. A lot of times we don't take the risk of being broken so, because we don't trust that God got us. And that's probably the biggest thing or the biggest lie that we tell ourselves is if I allow myself to feel these emotions, if I allow myself to go back and forget some of that stuff, then I'm not going to be who I am. When in fact, God is wanting us to share those things so that we can be a better version of us. But we scared to take the risk. So we need to take the risk. If the payoff is great.
What's the payoff?
Glad you
What's the
asked.
payoff?
Glad
I
you
like
asked.
where I am. I like where I am.
How
It's
about
probably going to be some people watching and say, well, I'm good. I like where I am. So, what is the
well
motivation?
maybe you are good. Or maybe you keep on reliving the past of what mom did or what dad did, or maybe even um, something happened to you in your past that has created issues for you moving forward. Just to give you a little story, as a little girl, I was molested as a little girl, and for a long time, I thought it was my fault. So when I look back over my life, that thing hurt me to my core that somebody that I love that much and that a family member could do that to me. So instead of moving forward from it, I kind of waddled in it. 40 years of waddling. So I had that on top of my dad telling me that I wouldn't be anything. So we go back and we hold on to those things and we search for those things and we let them become who we are. And then we live that out and we never fulfill our purpose and our plan that God intended.
Mm,
So be willing to shed those things and not keep on searching for them like they're a pillow or a blanket or that we need to hold on to for survival because all it's doing is tearing us down. It's not allowing us to move forward. It's not anything that's pushing us forward. It's keeping us stuck in that red box. We'll never fulfill our full potential stuck in the red box.
okay. So, we talk about the past, right? Okay. So, we're always thinking about the past. And so, I had wrote down here, how do you stop remembering? Right? Can we talk
Mhm.
about that a little bit? How do you stop remembering? Because I mean, our life is full of memories.
I don't think we forget. I don't think it's meant to forget. I just think it's meant to move past. Um, Remembering is a testimony to who we are. We have to remember in order to share our testimony. So it's okay to remember. It's just not okay to waddle in it. It's just not okay for us to continue to build on it. Because when we build on the hurt and the pain and the agony of it, we continue to live that out, and we're never as successful as God has intended us to be because we keep on trying to live up to what someone said or what someone did. I'm broken. I'm a mess. They violated me. I have to live that out and wear that like a badge of honor, like it was something that I did to make them do that. No, that was their deficiency. So you take it on and you live it, and then you teach it to your children. And then you teach your children to be non productive, and all the things inside of them go to waste because we teach who we are. We have to learn how to teach something different. We have to do something different and not allow it to stop us. I probably should be a millionaire by now or even a lawyer. I stopped myself from doing some of the things that was important because I didn't think I was good enough. So we talk ourselves out of the very thing that we're supposed to talk ourselves into. I believe as a little girl, I was supposed to be a lawyer. I ask all the right questions and I do all the investigating. But
Is that why we're such good friends? I wanted to be a lawyer. I'm good at investigating. I'm good at research. I'm like, should I have been a detective because I'm kind of good at those putting the
there,
pieces
there
of the puzzle together. That's what we have in common.
yeah. Talk myself out of being a lawyer. I should have probably would have been one of the greatest lawyers and probably rich. Now I'm making soap in my basement. Go figure. But that's all right. God got a way of turning things around for you when you decide to do it His way.
Well, that is true. So I didn't do the lawyer thing, and I think if all goes right, my daughter will just pick up where I left off since I didn't
Yeah,
fulfill
go
that.
figure.
She says she wants to be a lawyer, but she's so finicky. But so far, right now, she says lawyer. But who knows? If she does, then we'll know. I was supposed to be, and I didn't fulfill that assignment. And so he said, I'm not going to stop there. I'm going to keep this thing going in the generation. We'll know that here in about 5, 8 years if she becomes a lawyer.
Well, good. Then I can vicariously live through her. Then I don't think mine's gonna be a lawyer either, but that's okay. We'll both have to live it through Vivi.
Yeah. I just want to stop and give a shout out to the people who are watching. If you got some comments or you want to join on the conversation, please do put your comments in the chat. We would love for you to join in the conversation and ask us questions or give some feedback. We're hoping that as we do this every Monday, that this will be very, very interactive. Um, we don't want to do all the talking. We're pretty sure that you all have some things to say as well. So join in the conversation. So continue where we left off. We were talking about remembering. You said, you don't have to forget. It's just that you don't want to waddle in it, right? Okay. So let's talk about the fact that when we are remembering those things, I mean, it's kind of sometimes hard. I think the hardest part is disassociating your feelings and your emotions with that experience, right? And so I remember having a heartbreak, um, and I was distraught. I was sad. I was a pitiful mess. But I was holding it together because I had a baby. What am I going to do? I got to take care of this baby, right? But I was hurting inside, going to work hurting, going to coming home crying, and just not really knowing what to do. So anyway, um, every time I would think about what he did, because he cheated. So every time I would think about what he did, I would just get so upset all over again. So upset all over again. My heart is just breaking all over again. Hey, April. And it wasn't until I went to a seminar, I call it a seminar. I don't know what else to call it, but at church, an apostle, Benny Fluellen, shout out to my apostle.
Hey,
Um, hey,
possum.
I went to something where he was speaking at the church, and his thing he said, which resonated in me to this day, was to stop rehearsing it in your mind. And it was like, oh my God, I didn't even,
Mhm,
oh my God, stop rehearsing it. That's why you can't get over it, because you keep sitting here thinking about, he did this, he did this, he did this. Oh my God, he did this. And I'm rehearsing it over and over and over again in my mind. And I am reliving that, right? Every time I'm thinking about it. And so it's not easy, but you have to disassociate
mhm,
everything with that act. And the first thing to stop remembering something is to stop rehearsing it in your
mhm,
mind. So I had to stop rehearsing what he did. I had to stop imagining it. I had to stop visioning it, because I'm visioning it, y'all. Like,
mhm,
I'm
mhm.
seeing him and I see what she looked like, and oh my God, really do that to me. Like, seriously, did you do that to me? I can't believe you did that to me. So we gotta stop
And she's not
rehearsing.
even cute as I am, right?
Huh?
I said she's not even as cute as I am, though, right?
No. He went to the gutter.
You see how we turned that thing around and made it a joke and we laughed about it. Sometimes you have to just laugh about it. That's another thing that Apostle talks about emoting, learning how to get into those emotions and recognize that it is not about you. It's all about them. That's them. Okay. It
It,
wasn't
it
me.
It
It was all
really is. And you gotta replace those thoughts that you have with something positive. So that's what I had to start doing and stop rehearsing it. But now that I'm not rehearsing it, well then what am I going to put there? I had to replace the behavior. I had to replace those thoughts with something else. And one of those things was to tell myself, it's his loss, not mine.
he don't
You went,
deserve you.
you went to the gutter, boo.
Right. He
I'm
didn't
just
deserve
saying.
you. He didn't deserve. Once we realize people don't deserve us, and we can move on and not allow it to continue to hurt and harm us. We owe it to ourselves to choose us. You have to choose yourself. So when we decide to choose us, we'll be better individuals as a result of it.
Yeah.
And then mental sobriety can begin. We can't have mental sobriety until we release some of those emotions. It wasn't until I realized that my father telling me that I wasn't nobody was because his father told him he wasn't anybody. So that was him. I needed to leave that and bury that with him and allow myself the opportunity to move free so that I could be somebody, so I could think outside the red box. That's difficult because we want to live up to our parents' thoughts of us and we want them to always be well. Sometimes they don't think well of us because they don't think well of themselves. But it's not my fault because you didn't think well of yourself and that's all you had to offer me. So learning how to take those things and place them back on those people that gave them to you is key. Just because you said that, it might be true to you, but it's not my truth. So walk in your truth. You owe
Right.
it to yourself to walk in your own truth.
But some people don't know their own truth.
Apostle Benny says that all the time. Walk in your own truth. That's why you have to do some self-talk and some self-evaluation and find out who you are. You can find out who you are through the Word of God. What God says you are. Start rehearsing what God says you are. Find those scriptures that says that I'm loving, I'm kind, God loves me. Find those things that will lift you up and motivate you, what God thinks about you. And start rehearsing those things. Put them on your refrigerator, put them on your mirror, put them in your bathroom. Just start rehearsing those things that make you feel good.
So let's talk about those victories a little bit. Because when we first started this conversation, we were talking about the red box. It's about our past, but sometimes it's not really always the bad things that happen to us that have us stuck. It's the
Mm-hmm.
good things that have happened to us that have us
Yeah,
stuck. Let's talk about
yeah.
that a little bit because that really was like an eye opener for me and for all of those people who are uh, uh, driven by accomplishments, right? We're driven
Mm-hmm.
by our success of what we've achieved. We set these goals and we achieved it, whether it's going to college or starting our own business or, whatever it may be that most of us would consider being successful. And we achieve all these things. We get these master's degrees, these PhDs, or, we Grammys, Oscars, I don't know. But we get these accolades, right? And we get stuck with those accolades and we get stuck being where we were and we don't evolve with the time and we don't evolve with where the world is going. And then we think that while everybody else is running ahead, we're still sitting here talking about what we used to do or what we accomplished, and it's like, okay, but what are you doing now? And then what are you doing to propel yourself
into the future, right? I thought that was really big when the preachers talked about being stuck in our victories. We always want to look back. Well, I did this and I did that. Okay, that was 10 years ago. Why are we still trying to get pats on the back for things we did 10 years ago? What you doing now, boo? Right? What you doing now, boo?
Well,
And we think that when we've accomplished these things, that's it. That's it. There's nothing
mm,
else for me to do. When there
mm,
really is something else for us to do, we can't get stuck right there. Okay, so you got your master's degree. That's great. You got your PhD. That's great. Now what? Now what? What are you going to do with it? How are you going to bless the people? How are you going to bless your life? Can we stop talking about what you did 15 years ago? What about what you just did yesterday? Right? But we don't have nothing to say about what we did yesterday because we ain't been doing nothing since we did the big great accomplishment because we thought that that was the end all be all and we stopped right there and didn't go any further. We're stuck in that level of being.
that brings us back to Blockbuster. They did a great thing when they had VHS and DVDs, and they got stuck. It was a great thing. We all had DVDs. We even got the Blu-ray. The Blu-ray even made money. How about that? Remember the
You're
Blu-ray?
right.
We had it going on with the Blu-ray, and I think that's what it is. We just get stuck. We get stuck in past successes, not recognizing that there's more for us to accomplish and more for us to do because there's plenty out there to be done. I think about soaping. Soaping is something that I do. I make natural soap, so every day, um, when I get up, I look at something about soaping because there's some creativity that's down inside of me that needs to come out. So it's something that I do so that something can spark something in me. So when I read the word and I'm praying and asking God, God can bring something back and say, remember when you saw this on that soaping channel? What about doing it this way so you can get another result? And then when you get those other results, people like it. And then that's a great achievement. I've conquered something. Now I become master of that thing because it's something that God gave me and it's something that I've been practicing. So I think we're afraid to rehearse things. I think we afraid that if we go out there and put an interest in something and give ourselves to it every day, we're robbing God. No, we're not robbing God. That's what God expects us to do. If we're going to be great for Him, we have to be great in our personal successes as well, because if we're not great in our personal successes, how are we going to be great for God? And we don't even have compassion for our own selves. So we just got to get out the red box mindset. It's bigger than the red box, and it's okay to invest in yourself. You owe it to yourself to invest in yourself.
Try something new. That's all I heard when you was
Something
talking.
new. Try something.
Try something. Like just try something. And it makes me think about where I am right now with um doing teaching financial literacy and helping people with financial services. And there is in my industry this way of doing business, and that business model works, but that business model is not keeping up with where we're going. And so while you can use that business model, you can really make money, and some people do. So I'm not knocking it. There's other ways to make money. There's more than one way to skin a cat. Is that what they say? And there's more than one way to market. And so to think that this is the only way, and then we want to frown on people who's doing it a different way, and then we miss out. We miss out on opportunities. Blockbuster missed out on opportunity. Even Redbox is missing out on opportunities right now, in my opinion. I could be wrong. I'm not no big CEO, but I'm just saying when we were having the conversation and we were thinking about the fact that Netflix just came on with this streaming, right? And then we said to ourselves, well, Redbox, they still got these boxes outside of Kroger's, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS. People want to get these DVDs.
And I said, well, if I was Redbox, I would have did me some streaming to where when people are renting new releases that I am um going to do it cheaper than them. I'm gonna undercut my competition because you're streaming, right? You're already letting them rent DVDs for $1 or $1.50, right? So
Right.
now there's just streaming. There's not that much to streaming it online. The overhead is less, so you can undercut. So while everyone's charging like $5, $6 to rent a new release, you could be charging like $2, $3, and everybody now is coming to Redbox because I'm gonna deal with Redbox, and then I don't know, but then when we went and looked at what they were charging, they weren't charging around the same as what everybody else was charging, but you're not even offering any other things or movies, right? All you're doing is renting. And so why am I going to rent this movie from you that I can go over here and watch a whole bunch of movies over here with Netflix? So while they thought further than Blockbuster, they didn't think further like Netflix and Hulu or Amazon Prime. So that's why we're
Girl,
stuck in
we
the
plug
red box. They
Hulu and
thought a little
Netflix.
bit. I'm sorry, what you say? What you say?
I said we plug in Amazon Prime and Hulu and Netflix, aren't we?
Right. And now you got Disney coming along. They about to try to blow
Oh my
everybody out the
goodness.
water with their stuff, right? So you got to think outside the red box. Red box thought further than Blockbuster, but they didn't think further enough. So we got to try to evolve and try something different. So like I had something I had been thinking about when we were talking about people's purpose and finding your one thing, and sometimes we think this is the only thing, right? Because when we were talking about being stuck in your victories, and you think that because I made this accomplishment, I'm gonna live off this one accomplishment for the rest of my life. Like some people try to milk that thing like this is the end all be all of who I am, and they don't look to
Mhm.
evolve themselves. And so I used it. I like the example of like not Michael, what's his name, Magic Johnson, right?
Mhm.
Magic Johnson is probably one of the greatest NBA players of all time. Now I'm not that much of a basketball player, but I know he was one of the greatest. I think he was on the Dream Team. I could be wrong, but anyway. So he's
What?
a basketball star. He makes all this money playing basketball. His time is up because if you're an athlete, it's not going to last that long, right? It's going to be a time where it's going to come and you're going to need to do something else. But we have some athletes that don't know how to evolve. They get stuck in where they were and think this is what I was, and they didn't think beyond what am I going to do beyond basketball. What are you going to do when you can't play anymore? And but then you have those athletes like Magic Johnson who thought further down the road. Okay, now I'm gonna take my basketball and I'm going to use that platform to catapult me into something else. And he used that to start other businesses. And he used that to bless people, right? He found his one thing, his purpose. And so I think about the fact that the Starbucks, I read about how Starbucks wasn't in the African American community, and the owner of Starbucks wasn't even thinking about bringing coffee to us. And so Magic Johnson, like, this coffee is good. Your product is good. You know what? You're missing out on a whole market. You're missing out on a whole market here in the African American community. And so the CEO, the owner's like, nah, I'm good. He's like, no, let me show you something different, right? So he does his finagling, his negotiating, his influencing, and he shows him something, and then the guy is just blown away. He's just blown away, and through the vision of I keep calling him Michael Magic Johnson, he
Matt,
goes and he starts all these Starbucks and brings it to the African American community. And so here it is. They thinking, what, we don't like coffee? We're not good enough for coffee. I don't know what's the deal with, why we couldn't have coffee. But he was missing out on a whole market and his Starbucks probably would not have been as big as it is if Michael Magic had not come along, right? he was probably stuck in the red box. But because someone else was thinking outside the red box, they were able to help him catapult Starbucks to a whole nother level. We gotta think beyond where we are. We gotta think beyond where we are. You're gonna get left behind. You're gonna get left behind. So that's my thoughts for tonight. What else you got for me, Dion?
Well, there's some good thoughts.
People think,
we got
think
we got to
outside.
go. That's right. We got to go beyond our thoughts. Who would have thought that soaping is a $6 billion business? And all I want is a corner piece of it. So we have to think outside the box. I don't need all $6 billion, but it'd be nice to have 1 billion of it. But I mean, if I'm gonna think big, I might as well think big, right? But who would have thought?
Just
Who
want
would
a
have
piece of
thought?
the pie. Just want a piece. Greed. Greed
Who
is
would have
what
thought?
gets into trouble. So when you say that, it makes me think about in investing. When I was learning how to invest in the stock market, one of the things that the mentor would always say is that we want to follow the big businesses, and we're not trying to make the money they make. We just want a piece of the pie. We just want a small portion of it. So wherever they're buying, that's where we need to buy, right? Whatever they're getting, that's what we need to get. Wherever they're investing, that's where we need to invest. And we don't have to have the big dollars and invest like them, but we just want a piece of it, right? We just want a piece of the pie.
You have to know that you're marketable and that you can do this. You can do whatever you put your mind to. Think outside of the box. Go further than, hey, Cephas, how you doing? Go further than just where you've been. It's further than where you've been. It's where you're moving toward, what you're moving toward. Get a part of that $6 billion. Yours might not be soaping. It might be something else. And once we understand who we are and where we're going, then we can understand God a little better because God believed in entrepreneurship. I don't know
Yeah.
why. I don't know why we put God in a box and we don't think that God didn't believe in entrepreneurship. He did.
Dion, don't make me preach on here.
Well,
Don't make me preach on Facebook Live. Okay. We're talking about the talent
we're
and
not
that
gonna,
person that put their talents in the box. Okay.
there you go. That's what I'm saying. So, he had a plan. We just missed it. We just need to go back and read it and see what thus says the Lord so that we can be better at what we hoping for. Because I think a lot of times we don't know what we're hoping for. That's why we can't accomplish or we can't see where we're trying to go. So, yeah, hope a little bigger and understand what you're reading and what God is saying and where He's trying to propel you to. Because He's trying to propel you to that next level. But we get stuck. We get stuck on looking back and thinking about that $2,000 we made last year when God trying to give us $500,000 this year.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, I'm just
Right. That's not the end of it. Cephas, I wish you was on here. I wish all innovators think differently. That's what Cephas had to say. And I'd like to know how to what's the different thinking? Is it
yeah,
just creativity?
absolutely.
Is it so? Yeah, Cephas, you'll have to elaborate on that. You'll have to tell us a little bit more. But yeah,
Tell Steve to stop hitting and missing.
don't be giving us no bad comments. We trying to have conversation here.
Right. If he want to get on our conversation, tell him show his face. Get outside the red box.
Right. Now, my friend Cephas, he thinks outside the red box. I have to say that. I have to say that. He is, oh my God, his mind goes. And so, Cephas, I say to you, keep going, don't stop, keep being creative, keep thinking, don't limit yourself, go for it. You're meant to do big things. You're already doing big things, but I can see, and I wouldn't be surprised if you did bigger. Don't get stuck in your victories, which I know you don't. So people out there don't think that's what I'm saying about him, but because he doesn't. But yeah, always say, "Yep, I did this. Now, what's my next big thing?" Get bigger and bigger. So Don't stay stuck, people. Get a new perspective on life. Get a new perspective about your experience. Get a new perspective about your situation and where you are. Think outside that red box. Think that red box is your past and it's your present, really, because we're talking about past hurts and victories. Both of them, the bad things can have us stuck, and some good things can have us stuck when we dwell on what we've already accomplished and not what we still can accomplish, what we've already done and not what we can still do. Um, so don't get stuck.
And
Any
think
last
about,
thoughts?
yeah, think outside of the box, and who you think God is and what God is to you, because He's so much more than our little minds think that He is. So let's think outside of the box about how we approach God and how we understand His Word, so that we can do better for God and we can do more for God as well. Because we don't want to forget that being means that we want to be everything. We want to encompass it all, so that we can be all that it is that God has designed us to be. So yeah, let's think about outside of the red box when it comes down to Him as well, to the Christ, so that we can be good for Him, so that we can show off His handiwork.
Exactly. So this has been our first episode of Think Outside the Box. Again, we're going to come to you every Monday at 7:30. So come join us, join the conversation, give us your comments, give us your thoughts, give us your feedback. It's not just about what we know, but it's about what you all know as well. If anyone's ever interested in joining the conversation, I can always invite you into the live broadcast, like lickety split, right? And then you can join into and join us in the conversation. I am not held to, hey, I'm going to think outside the box. So that means
Yeah.
that this moment I'm on Facebook Live and I need to get you on here, then we're going to send you a link and bring you on and let's talk. So, Redbox, that's your past and your present. Let's get outside of those things that have us stuck where we are so that we can propel into the future. So, join us in these conversations where we will discuss various things that is important to our being and thinking differently and creating new experiences and motivating each other and encouraging each other and just helping each other take ourselves outside of that red box. Any other thoughts, Dion, before we close out the show?
Yeah, I just want to remind us that to be intentional about who you are and where you're trying to go and where you see yourself as you look back and as you move forward. Be intentional about you. Love you enough to think different and to be different and to act different. And make sure that you understand that you teach who you are. So let's teach something different.
I'm sorry, what was that last part you said? Be what? We teach who we are what?
I said, remember, we teach who we are. So let's teach something different.
Yes, yes. We have to teach, well, we have to first teach ourselves something different, right?
Well, that's true.
Teach
That's
yourself
true.
something different
That's
so
why,
then you can give off and produce something different. We got to
absolutely.
produce something different. I think on Sunday, one of the pastors that just talked about having seedless fruit. We don't want to produce, we want to produce, we want to have seeds, okay?
We
We
want to
want to
have,
sow these seeds
oh,
and have lots of
absolutely.
fruits. But you got to constantly, I'm getting a download. You got to constantly be sowing seeds so that you can have a harvest. You have to be
Yeah,
constantly sowing those seeds so that you can be growing that fruit. And we're not doing that when we get stuck in our victories, right? I
yes,
sowed the
yes,
seeds, I had this big harvest, and now I'm sitting back, kicking it up, laying in the hammock. No, you can lay in the hammock, but not all
right.
day, not for 10 months, not for 2 years, not for 5 years. Get up out of the hammock, people, okay, and start sowing more seeds. All right, we can't keep, you can't think you can just do it right now, and then when you get
the results you're looking for, then you stop. And then you wonder why the well runs dry. You wonder why you're not able to move forward. You wonder why more things aren't coming your way. You wonder why, because you're not sowing. You gotta be always sowing. And to be always sowing means that you're always thinking, you're always looking ahead. You're always focused on where God has you going. You're always learning. You're always growing. Plant some seeds in yourself.
Yeah.
Or
Oh my goodness. Oh my
plant
goodness.
yourself.
You preach, girl. You preaching. That's
That's it.
right. Sow some seeds.
We stop planting in ourselves. Go, go learn more, grow more, talk to other people, go to other places, learn some things outside of the world in which you are in. Otherwise, you're not going to evolve and that's it. I'm gonna stop. Plant some seeds in yourself.
Yeah, because we could talk all night. We could talk all night.
We can talk all night. We were not even supposed to talk this long. We were supposed to be 30 minutes, 30 minutes. But she done got me started. I'm not gonna preach. I'm gonna leave it alone, y'all. What else, Dion? We gotta go. Anything else you
Girl,
want to say?
we gotta go. Yeah, I got a lot to say, but we'll save it until next Monday because we don't want to give away everything tonight. But we do want to make sure that you know that we're coming today to plant seeds. So that's what the whole thought and process is today is to plant seeds. So we believe we planted some seeds today. So we'll plant some more on Monday, next Monday.
See, see if you
He
know
said,
me. All right, y'all. Join us next Monday, 7:30. Be here. Join in the conversation. I'm excited, y'all. I'm excited about this. I'm excited to have you all here. We just gonna do some out of the red box things, okay? Out of the red box things. So we're gonna sign off. You all have a great night, and we will see you
good night.
soon. Good night.
Good night. Peace.